We pump those profits back into the profit cycle to generate even more profits. And I know what you're going to say. Profits? Yes, Stan. You're soaking in them.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's your boy ExtrmWill, and this is my tech channel. We're going to do this video a little differently. I haven't figured I've really had like a lot really to cover in the last couple, but I think there's a lot in the comments from the previous video. We're going to start with those, and then I'll get into how much I was actually making and go into the machines. First one I really want to get into, don't mind me mining, and animation Worldly T4647. I think they're both asking about your internet speeds and how much do you need and what do I do for settings. To be honest, I have 5 gig up and 5 gig down, and I let it just do whatever it wants to do. The natural bottlenecks between me not having a networking card and anything is going to keep everything kind of regulated enough. For me personally, I still get like the internet out errors every once in a while because my internet provider is still only up like 99.8% of the time, and with Salad, as I'm trying to run full bore 100% of the time, I do occasionally see like that 0.02% of the time my internet provider is not actually fully up and providing what it can. But in this Don't Mind Me Mining post, he has 10 rigs on 1,000 up and 1,000 down, and that used to be plenty because they used to only do about 80 gigabytes of download, or 80, I'm going to get in trouble here, 80 megabytes of download per second. But when they increased the size, and I don't remember what they increased the size from, that you needed for your reserve space, that amount did go up. I think now, at the start of a job, I believe it can pull up to about 135 megabytes per second per machine. This is what I'm seeing, I think, from the largest usage that I have. Wonder if I can check another machine here really quickly. What's my second machine look like by the day? Yeah, it looks like the most it can pull is about 162. It's still averaging for the hour, pulling 162 megabytes per second averaged for the hour. So it can probably pull a lot more. Like it might pull more at some points than others. So I don't know if you can actually run 10 necessarily on 1,000 up and 1,000 down. I'd imagine for the most part you should be able to, because it's not doing that all the time. But you can potentially then run into issues if they're all starting up at the same time, because it's not pulling that massive chunk for a very long period of time. I think it's only really pulling the huge chunk at the very beginning. And then when it downloads it, it's like the download, or it uploads it, it's nothing. It's just when it tries to download the container at the beginning. So as long as they're not all trying to download the container at the same time, I think you're all right. Now, like if you have a variety of different cards, that'll help. If all the machines are identical, where they're all going to be all working on the same container all the time, you might have more of an issue. I would imagine it should still work, but I definitely couldn't guarantee for sure that it could, because you could be potentially trying to pull that says you should, like, if more than 7 of them are trying to start a job at the same time, then you're going to bottleneck everything. So, in theory, it should still work. But if it's all the same card, you may run into more issues where it's not. I'm not actually doing anything to limit what mine can or can't do. They are simply limited by what is in the machine right now. I don't have any networking cards on them. So like, even though my laptop here is plugged in to the 5 gig up and the 5 gig down, I just did a speed test and it only speed tested at 170 down and 104 up because there's no networking card in here. I thought this could still do like 300 up and 300 down, but let's test it again. Can I bring the test over here? No, not without bringing the whole thing. Let's bring the whole thing over here. And now it's testing. Now it's testing like insanely higher than it did before. This looks more correct. That's like twice what it just tested at. So this looks more correct. More of what the machine is naturally bottlenecked at. The 298 and the 144. It should be able to do, I think it can do the 298 up and 298 down. But, yeah, just naturally because I don't have networking cards, so I don't have stuff set up to actually be able to run higher. I'm not really doing anything other than naturally letting go, but I do have 5 gig fiber up and down. So that makes it a lot easier. Now, I do still see we do still have issues here with internet sometimes. I don't think it's really Salad that we have issues with. I think it's more from the provider end because I don't think I am always actually getting 5,000 up and 5,000 down because there's times everyone goes in the neighborhood Facebook page and goes, why doesn't the internet work? Is everyone else's internet down? And I think they just have, I think the internet provider has scaling issues. So I still get internet errors, even though my internet should be up and running. How should I manage switch and set bandwidth speed per rig or any other recommendations? I would say just try not, if like you lose power, try not to fire everything up at the same time. You might need to turn your bottom 2 rigs off or get faster internet speed. That could be like a real legitimate issue with that 1,000 up and 1,000 down. Because I think it is pulling a lot more now than it used to. And I don't know if there's a real way that you can stop all of them from trying to download jobs now. The containers just got, like, they got a lot bigger. And the networking angle of this is something that I don't think a lot of people really worked through when it did, because it didn't appear that it was like it didn't occur to me that that was something that was really going to be an issue. I would have just assumed that it was working before, it's going to work now kind of thing. But when they made everyone have to get a bigger hard drive, you have to get a bigger hard drive because it wants to download more. So I'd imagine too, even if like you set them all to like each machine, if you were able to bottleneck each machine to 100 up and 100 down, you're still going to run into issues because it's going to say you can't download this, you can't download that. I'd imagine. I'm not a networking professional. That's not really what I do. I have a network set up here that is interesting. I normally just try and do my best to overkill it as best I can so I don't have to deal with that. I don't have a real good recommendation. If you get like a more expensive router, I think you can tell it to only do 100 and 100 to each machine. But I don't know if you're trying to only do 100 to 100 to each machine, if then Salad will register you're doing the work correctly or not. So I would say if you can, try to make sure that they're not all starting at the exact same time. And that's probably the only real advice I have, is try to make sure they're not all starting at the exact same time. You don't necessarily want to go to more internet, like some people don't have that as an option, period. Like, I think where I live, I think I heard a rumor that they just added 7 gig up and 7 gig down. I don't know for sure. I don't really plan on switching anytime soon. I'm pretty happy right now with the 5 gig up and the 5 gig down. But I'm in the Tampa area though, so. But I know a lot of other people, like, you can become very quickly limited by what you have as your options. So you could either increase your speed or try not to let it bother you. That could get a little bit rough. All right. The next thing really quickly here, and the next comment, I think that's all I really have for the net networking stuff. I don't have a whole lot for it. I did find out where the priority is. It's this next tab down here. So, earnings summary is your normal earnings page, and then to see the demand for the cards is right here. And that was from Bleach 500, said that's all I had to do. Dirty CP9A tip GPU usage in Taskmaster is misleading. Yeah, I know it's misleading. It's just to get a super rough estimate because I generally don't care that much. It's just to show it's not really using a whole lot. That's just kind of the point I'm making. It's when you're running Salad, it's not like crypto mining where you're using 100% of your machine all the time and it's using all the resources and drawing a ton of power. Like, it's not really always drawing that much. A lot of times it's not drawing a whole lot at all. So yeah, it's a cheap way of like ineffectively doing it, but it is what it is. Let's see. I thought there was another one here. Yeah, running 4090s for 24 hours to make $2 a day. Yeah, depending on what your electric rate is. In the Tampa area, my electric rate is 15 cents per kilowatt hour, I believe. So, yeah, if you're in the UK or Germany says it's like something like 34 to 40 cents. Yeah, like, this definitely wouldn't make any sense. I could see where, like, crypto mining at a loss to offset your heat would make a lot of sense, but mining Salad at a loss definitely doesn't make any sense because, like, Salad, it's not like a token that will appreciate, or that could appreciate, with like with crypto, there's chance that the price action with that coin will go up. So even if you're mining at a loss right now to get you the heat that you need anyways, there's a chance it could offset. I thought it was kind of funny, though. I'm not sure exactly. I think I responded to the guy who said what the price was in Germany. So my response to that was funny. I said, yikes, do you just shovel euros directly into your furnace to heat your house? I thought that was pretty funny and clever. I didn't see a response back from him, so maybe he didn't care for that. I thought it was funny. So, yeah, that's all that. I kind of try to pay attention to networking stuff, but I don't necessarily know. I just try to have too much internet. And if we look at this right now, if we get into the normal part of the video, ugh. So it had been absolutely crushing it. I'd been in pretty much solely between like the 45 and 60 cents for the 15-minute blocks on the 30 machines. I think if we look at the next slide here, which was, or probably should have just started before we even started looking at what I was doing. You can definitely tell this gets updated pretty regularly. So all my 3080s are on low, my 3060 Ti's are on low, 3070s are on low, 4070 Ti's are on low. I don't have any 2080s or any 3080 Ti's, but those are also on low. But the most we have in here right now is moderate, so nothing in here is actually in high demand. The most we have is moderate demand, which is not necessarily that good. Like when they send emails to everybody, that's high demand. So nothing's actually in high demand. I think we're seeing a ton of jobs just kind of fall off. I don't know if it's like, if it winds up being like a New Year's thing, where people like don't want to, the money's got to be allocated correctly for stuff. So you may see some weird stuff happen with businesses where they're like, okay, we can't have a job run over the clock at midnight for New Year's because the money spent has to be allocated into the correct year because taxes are stupid, and how you figure all of it out, it's stupid. So how you keep everything up and working and running correctly. So we might just be seeing like There might be like a day or two here where everything is real low, and then New Year's Day, everything might just pop back up again. This is just me completely speculating why the demand on everything looks kind of so mediocre. But, you know, it says right now it should still be good for your 3090s, 3080 Ti's, 2080 Ti's. The 2080 Ti, though, I don't think that is going to be profitable at all. 3080 Ti should be profitable. 2080 Ti, though, I'm pretty sure that's pulling like a ridiculous amount of electricity. So I don't think that one's, even though it's in demand, I don't think it's a good idea necessarily to be running that one as a card on here. I mean, if you have it and you got a way to make it work, if you got solar panels or something, that might work good. Yeah, the 4090 right now is in 4th place, so that's why my earnings right now look like poop. But it has been, I had a really good several days. So if we look back, yesterday would have been, the last 24 hours would have been $35.80. So that's low because you see, like, we can see, oops. Yeah, we can see in here that, like, it started to drop off quite a bit today. But then if we look, yesterday it was $42.35. Day before that was $41.18. Day before that was $43.52. Day before that was $44.57. Day before that was $48.54. So I was definitely on a really good long run there of jobs. 4090s were running, 3090s were running, high priority containers. Even like my little cards were all just running the standard like $1.30 stuff, but definitely running a lot of decent containers. And then it just kind of looks like, in the last 24 hours here, it's just all kind of stopped and fallen off. So easy ways to kind of calculate this out. If you figure out what the average is for this, it's probably going to be, you can kind of cheat too by figuring it out up there. But your average for how much you're making for a 15-minute block. You multiply that by 4, multiply it by 24, will get you to 96, or you can just, you know, rough estimate and multiply it by 100. So if all I was doing for the whole day, if this was a straight line for the whole day, and I was making 25 cents every 15 minutes, that'd be $25 for the whole day. Or while I was making 44 cents here. Looks like that's like the high peak that I had in the last 24 hours. That would have been about $44 for the day. So my average is somewhere in like 35 cents right now, probably. So last 24 hours, then I made $34.87. With my 15-cent electric rate, I'm spending, 11, maybe, it's like, the $34 should be like 10 to 11. It's probably closer to $10 than it is $11 for electric for the day. So I would have still made pretty decently. I think that's about it. Look at the last 30 days. Definitely had some pretty good days. I think to go back to here, this was probably an update. Somewhere in here I lost power. And I think I was out of town these days, but I just don't think they had a lot of work. I think they did have a lot of work coming up here though to Christmas and through the Christmas season, so that was definitely pretty nice. Even with, I think wherever the one day was from the from doing the updates, I didn't take that huge hit normally from the update. Normally you gotta wait like a week after an update to get the earnings back, but we didn't see any of that. So this is on 30 machines. And we already covered this. This is really cool. I like having this now, like to really be able to like reference, not just be like, oh, maybe, like what's actually in demand, to know from Salad specifically what's in demand. I'd like to see cards in high demand. Just seeing stuff in moderate demand is not that great. We get into here, my 30 machines. These are all going to be organized by GPU now. So we get the 34090s, 53090s, 24070 Ti's, 14070, 34060 Ti's. I believe I have 43060s, 33060 Ti's, 53070s, 23070 Ti's, and 23080s. It's going to be the order we're going to go through here. So let's come in here first then. So the first 4090, it's running on an X99 motherboard with a Xeon 20-core processor, 128 gigabytes, RTX 4090. Oh, is currently looking for a job. Boo. So get into the next one. This is these first three machines are basically all the exact same. So this is another 20-core Xeon, an X99 motherboard, 128 gigabytes of memory, RTX 4090. This one's doing 25.9 cents. So if I cheat and look at this, I do not have, yeah, I do. 25.9 is right there. So this is doing $6.21 per day right now. So that's not too bad at all. That's pretty good. So all three of these are running. Obviously, I'm making real good money when I should be making good money. It looks like two of them are running. This one's making 28.7 cents, which I do not have this on my list here. So let's see how much is. This will be more. Times 24. So this is making $6.88 per day. Whoa, did that just jump up? That just jumped way up. Nope. Clear. 0.3899 times 24. Is that $10? Whoa, boy! Now we just saw the price move on it. So I don't think it's actually making $9.35 a day, but it's going to make $9.35 for part of the day. So definitely doing pretty good on this one. That's, that's over a quarter of what I'm making. Is that a quarter? That's, 30% of what I think I made yesterday, something like that. 30% to a quarter, something. That's a big job. Have not seen one that big in quite a long time. That is very nice. I like. Alright, let's get into the next one here. So AMD Threadripper 1950X, 16 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3090. This one's doing 10.95 cents per hour, which should be $2.62 per day. So it should be what all of the 3090s should be making if they are running. So this one's actually making more. This is doing 17.08 cents per hour, which I don't have in here, but that's about $4. About $4 a day. So that's very nice. High priority. 3090 job. Let's see here. Yeah, it's not actually downloading a job. It's being a jerk. So it's not necessarily stuck, but it gave me an error, so I downloaded a new driver, and the 2 down is doing the same thing, probably. When you get the GPU utilization errors, normally all you need is a new NVIDIA driver. Alright, so let's go to the next one here. This is 12 cores, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3090. It's doing 10.95 cents. I believe that's $2.62 per day. Yes, I don't want to shut it off yet because I'm pretty sure I'm going to also reboot this one. Yeah. It said it was downloading the job earlier too, which it's not actually doing. Okay, so let's see here. This is 5. BCPC 5. Oh, come on. Alright, here we go. So let's turn these back on. And come on. Task manager. And I want to pin this to the start bar. And chop now. And I'll check back in it in a second. That one should be good. This one is BCPC 8. Alright, this one here, we are done. We already checked. Tried doing all of this before I start the actual stream, but I downloaded them and then it said it was downloading a new job 35 minutes ago. It's not still trying to download a new job. It's definitely stuck. Alright, so let's go. Let's go. Let's double check these two at the end once I finish all the 40 series cards real quick. Chop now. Alright. So 12 cores, 96 gigabytes, RTX 4070 Ti. This one's doing 5.5 cents, which should be $1.30, right? 5.5 cents is, yeah, about $1.30 a day. So it's not too bad. Get to the next one. Better than this one's doing. 12 cores, Xeon processor, X99 motherboard, 96 gigabytes of memory, RTX 4070 Ti. This one's just calculating, looking for a job. As we saw, this is in the low demand, so don't expect this to get a job. 12 cores, 64 gigabytes, RTX 4070. This one's not working. This one's never working. So check out the next one. This is 12 cores, 64 gigabytes, RTX 4060 Ti. These are all the 16 gigabyte variant, I believe, right? 16 gigabytes. It's not showing me enough information. Yes, they're all the 16 gigabyte variant. And this one is, looking for a job. Boo. So it's 12 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 4060 Ti. This one's only 0.43 cents, so this is a 10-cent job for the day. So it's kind of a waste. Let's see, this next one, this should be a decent job. 12 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 4060 Ti is doing 16.64 cents. I don't have that in here listed, but that should be about $4. So that's a pretty good job, about $4 a day. It's a decent little job. All right, let's double check these two again. Looking for work and looking for work. Yeah, they didn't pick anything up yet. So maybe they'll get jobs, maybe they won't. We'll see. Alright, now I'll open all the 3060s. With Chrome Remote Desktop, it'll only let me have 20 open at a time. So sometimes it gets a little finicky on trying to go from 15 open to opening 15 right away. We should be able to get through all this really quickly here. So this is 12 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3060 is just looking for work. Next one, i7, 8 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3060 is looking for work. So I'll bring this up first. So Ryzen 7, 5700X, 8 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3060 is looking for work. i5, 6 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3060 is looking for work. So all 4 of my 3060s are calculating. Ooh. Alright. RTX 3060 Ti, i7, 8 cores, 32 gigabytes, RTX 3060 Ti. This one is looking for work. i5, 6 cores, 32 gigabytes, RTX 3060 Ti. It's doing 5.5 cents per hour, so that's $1.30 per day. Next one, Ryzen 5, 3600, 6 cores, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3060 Ti. This one is calculating. So 1 out of the 3 of my 3060 Ti's right now is working. Let's see here. So X99 motherboard, 12 core Xeon processor, 12 cores, 32 gigabytes, RTX 3070. This one's doing 5.5 cents a day, so that should be $1.30. Next one, i7, 8 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3070. This one is looking for work. This next one, Ryzen 7, 3700X, 8 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3070. This one is calculating. This next one is not on the processor. So this is i5, 6 cores, 32 gigabytes, RTX 3070. It's on a 10-cent job. I wouldn't 0.0041 cents. It's 10 cents per day. I don't know if I consider that working anymore now or not. Or actively on a job. So let's see. This next one, i3, 4 cores, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3070. This one's doing 5.5 cents per hour. So this is going to be another $1.30. So 2 of my 5 3070s right now are making $1.30. Let's see here. RTX 3070 Ti. This one's on 0.43 cents. So that's a 10-cent job. Ooh. This next one, AMD Ryzen 5, 6 cores, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3070. This is doing 0.0843 cents per hour, which I don't have in here, but that should be about $2. $2 per day, so that's pretty nice. Especially so many of these 30 series cards really are like just not in any demand at all. So it's the next one, 12 cores, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3080. These are the 10 gigabyte variant cards. This one's just calculating, so it's not doing anything. And this last machine that I have, i3, 4 cores, 32 gigabytes, RTX 3080, is doing 0. It is calculating. So, definitely a lot going on there. This seems to be pretty accurate and spot on. I think right now, I do definitely think the 3090, if I was to be expanding, the 3090 would be the card I would want. It seems to be running the most and the most reliably. I can believe it's 4 spots up from the 4090. Even though I have the one 4090 right now, it's making bank. I have another 4090 that's not doing anything. So, with how much the 4090s cost, like, I wouldn't buy 4090s for salad, but if you can get a good price on them, you know, I don't know. I guess if you can get a good price on anything, I'd probably buy it at a good price, but, you know, 4090s are interesting. I bought them for crypto mining, and I don't know. I don't expect them to ever actually ROI at this point. So, that's just a write-off. So, yeah. I think 3090 looks like it's still the best card. 4090 looks like, 3060, I think this was in low priority the last time I had checked. So at least it's up into moderate priority now. I think this is a really good card for doing all this stuff. I think the 4060 Ti is a really good card for doing this stuff too, but it's really close to being in low demand right now, so. Yeah. Does this thing say it went up? Yeah. So, I didn't think that looked like we were making 25 cents. So yeah, it literally jumped 10 cents there as we were looking. So I think maybe those two 4090s or that 140, maybe I guess it's probably just the 14090 that's on like that $9.80 job. That one, maybe another one started working because I don't think I had the two 4090s running when I was checking all of this to get ready. So basically, that one 4090 job took me up 10 cents per 15-minute block and will raise me $10 probably for the day because that is a really, really nice job. So, yeah. My whole farm, whether I'm making money or not, is really just completely determined right now by my 34090s and everything else. The other 27 cards are doing nothing. Well, they're not doing nothing. They're holding down like $25. And then the 34090s are holding down about another $25. So, yeah, that's it for the video. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe, come on back. If you leave comments down below, I'm pretty good about getting back to them. This video worked out pretty well. I think it worked well, too, with addressing the YouTube stuff at the beginning, because not everyone necessarily wants to see the breakdown of every single card. I try putting as much useful stuff in there as I can. Normally, like, whatever I've had to do to work on them to get everything back up and working. I do want to make some smaller videos on that stuff. I'm just, like when you get the GPU degraded error, you just update the driver kind of thing, So, it can be a little tricky sometimes, though, because I fly through it so fast. But, yeah. I feel pretty promising about where this looks like this left off while I was checking all the machines. I was kind of discouraged before I started checking them, but I feel pretty good now. I have everything is updated on the newest driver, which makes checking everything super easy to not have to use Windows PowerShell to go back in to try to look at the information that, like, who knows what you're looking at. One thing I can say, though, too, really quickly, if we do, let's come back into one of these real quick. We'll come back into this one, because this one's making me happy. The one thing I can say that I've seen too, though, when you are in these, if it's at, so you can see it's still making, that's still pulling like $10 a day. Yeah. You can see that if it's just starting or just ended a job, this is really weird looking. Because it's your average for the last 5 minutes. So, I've had issues with that before too, and like, getting everything like starting up and running. Like if a machine was like off or had an error or something I had to like address or take care of, then like if you do catch one that just happened to like just start the job in the last 5 minutes, you can get some really weird readouts in here. You'd be like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Like, what is, like 0.07 cents or something, or 0.05 cents, 0.03 cents, something that just looks like weird because it doesn't match up with anything I have in the list. It'll look weird because it's your average for the last 5 minutes. So if it's averaging out versus 0, then it's going to say you're making like a real small amount. And then like within 5 minutes, the amount's going to be corrected and it's going to make sense in here then. So that's the only little thing I noticed. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, if you got any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. I'm pretty good about getting back to them. It probably is taking me, last couple days, definitely took me a little bit longer. I would read them, think about the comment for a day, and then get back to it as opposed to like normally I just like read it and just blurt out whatever comes to my mind. People are commenting stuff and I had to like think about stuff, like the networking stuff I had to like look into and do a little bit more of a deeper dive into it because it used to not take that much, but now it's not taking double what it used to, but it's definitely taking probably like 60% more network usage than it used to. So it's definitely interesting. I'd like to know more about all the network usage stuff and all that too. I try watching all kinds of random content to learn more about how to do like networking. So like level 1 tech. Whenever I see them doing weird stuff that I don't understand, I try watching to see if I can understand. They're pretty good. They do a lot of like networking stuff here and there. Linus, like once a year, Linus will do some networking stuff, and normally he has to bring Jake in, who actually knows what he's doing, to explain it and try to figure all that out. But yeah, yeah, that's it for the video. I'm just rambling. Now we're way over on time. So yeah, if you liked the video, like button, subscribe, come on back. I'll see you next time. Peace.